Hey guys, what's up? It's another self-dev video. In this video, I wanted to talk about advice I would give on if you have too many areas of your life that you need to self-develop. So one thing I would recommend you do in order to not get overwhelmed is to write them down so you have a visual list of what you need to do. Um, Now, if you're like me and you can't spontaneously think of all the things you need to do to improve your life, then this list will probably be improved and updated over time. So, um, you could spend maybe half an hour or an hour making a list, getting rid of distractions, making sure you don't have any upcoming appointments, and set like a timer for like half an hour or an hour and just writing down what is lacking in your life, what you think you should get rid of in your life or change. So basically, just a simple list. Try not to make it too complicated. Try not to be too specific, because more specific goals and self-development points will be harder to achieve. So what you want to do after that is you want to prioritize them. So try to be as smart as you can when you're prioritizing them, because if you prioritize them by if you're too like emotional when you're prioritizing, then what might happen is you're prioritizing them in the wrong way, and you're not going to meet your basic needs earlier on. And essentially, it will be like trying to build a pyramid from the higher layers before the lower layers, and that's obviously not going to work. So one reference I would give, which I recommend, is Maslow's hierarchy of needs. So when you're prioritizing what you need to do to self-develop, I would recommend following that model, um, which is also, simply put, a pyramid. So if you look on the lower layers, then the things you want to self-develop should be prioritized and compared to the lower layers first on the Maslow's hierarchy of needs. There are probably other models you could use that are similar, but that is probably a really popular, really easy to understand model that I recommend. Um, so you have your list, you have things to prioritize. The next thing I'd recommend is to work on one or a maximum of two at a time. Again, that's to avoid overwhelm and to avoid ego backlash. If you are working on too many things at a time, you'll just burn yourself out and you'll just stop self-developing altogether, and you'll go back to your old unhealthy habits, and we don't want that. So try not to take things too quickly. Try not to put too much hard work on yourself. Otherwise, it will just fall apart. And yeah. So the next thing would be to um, so you have your list, you have your prioritized list, you have your mindset of only working on one or maybe two at a time, depending on what the points are. Again, try to be smart with that. Um, so make sure you don't put in too much of your time in your life every day working towards these self development goals. Otherwise, again, things will fall apart. You'll feel like you're working too hard and you'll just want to stop and watch like Netflix or YouTube all day because it's easier. So the idea is to only have a small portion of each day working on yourself, because it's usually, for the average person, it's not very enjoyable, it's not very stimulating or exciting to work on yourself, to do things like meditation or breath work or setting up your business. Like, it's not very interesting, and we're more interested on the fruits of that and the benefits. So it won't feel like too much of a change if you only put small amounts of work each day. Um, you could start off with like maybe 15 minutes every day on your self-development goals, and then slowly ramping up to half an hour a day or even an hour a day. And that way it won't be such a sudden shock to the ego and cause ego backlash. So that would be my advice for how to introduce self-development into your life. Um, I would also recommend that you should be patient and not set high expectations for how soon you will be self-developing things. So if you have a lot of things to self-develop, then naturally it's going to take more time to develop yourself into the ideal self you want to be. So instead of expecting it to take weeks or months, it will probably take years. So, in my opinion, I would suggest you set higher you set longer term expectations than shorter, and that you would rather have the outcome of things taking shorter than you expected rather than things taking longer than you expected. Because if you're essentially clock watching and the amount of time you predicted a self-development plan to work, it's taking longer than you expected, then that will be one potential trigger of you stopping altogether your self-development plan, and we don't want that. So if you want to set expectations, then be I guess pessimistic with how long they're going to take. So it's not very easy to predict. It's all about how much time and effort you put into it each day, each week, each month, whatever. And yeah, so just, if you have to make a plan, just make a long-term plan. Expect it to take 5 years, and maybe it will only take like 3 years, for example. Um, yeah, I think that's pretty much it. Of course, I can always do a part two or part three, whatever, if I think of any more points. This was just meant to be a short video on some tips on what to do when you have too many things to self-improve, and how to start it, how to progress through it, and eventually finish it. So that's it for today. I hope you enjoyed the video. Please like and subscribe, click on the bell, comment what you liked, what you didn't like, anything I missed, you can write in the comments. Share with a friend or a family member or a co-worker who you think might benefit from this video. Maybe they have a lot of things to self-improve on and you think they will benefit from this video. That would be awesome. Yeah, so thank you very much for watching. Hope you have an awesome day and an amazing life.